Good to you all. The lesson that I'm going to do with you all today is The Rat Trap by Selma Lagerlöf. The lesson speaks about the unconditional love and compassion and how it really can help people reform, as none is born a criminal in this world. Sometimes the harsh circumstances and unfortunate events in one's life can impact one in not so positive a way, but that does not mean that he should be looked down upon and being condemned for. There was this rat trap seller who used to sell rat trap for a living, but it was not enough for his sustenance, so he would resort to both begging and petty thievery from time to time. And while going around, he thought that the whole world was nothing but a big rat trap with all its allurement, and whosoever would give in to temptation would get entrapped into, and there won't be any way of coming out from, but only would get further entrapped into. One dark evening, he came by a little cottage by the roadside, and when he went down knocking on the door, to his utter surprise, instead of being driven away, he was welcomed in. Not only was he being welcomed, but also given food and shelter. The old crofter, the owner of the cottage, being lonely and alone, not only shared with him his tobacco, but also his own story. He showed him the 30 krona that he had earned by selling milk, and how he had kept that money in a pouch hanging on a nail over the window. Next morning, while leaving, he took away that money, as he could not resist from giving in to his temptation. Once entrapped, he could no longer walk on the main road, was afraid could be stopped, and asked where from he had gotten that money from. Instead, he went down the forest, exhausted, thirsty, hungry, and completely lost his way for. Came by the Ramsos ironworks looking for shelter. The ironmaster, on his routine evening round, found him lying on the floor, resting, and thought him to be one of his friends from the regiment, and insisted that he should come and join them for Christmas at their place. For the vagabond, it would be like voluntarily walking in the lion's den with the 30 krona in his pocket. So he politely turned down the invitation. But later on in the evening, Edla, the ironmaster's daughter, came in to persuade him to come with her, though she could sense something unusual about him, but kept aside her inhibition and apprehension. He could not say no to her the way she said what all she had to say for. Once he changed and appeared before the ironmaster, immediately knew that he had made a mistake. He thought he had been deceived and taken on a ride for. He threatened to hand him over to the sheriff. Edla interceded for him, asked her father to let him be there with and enjoy the Christmas as it were they had insisted and invited him over. For the next 2 days, he ate and slept and ate as he had never done before in his whole life, with peace and without fear. Before leaving the next morning, he left a parcel for young Adler, containing the money that he had stolen from the old crofter, a letter and a rat trap as a Christmas present for her when she found what he had left behind for. She went up in joy with ecstasy. She knew she had not gone wrong in trusting and reposing her trust and confidence in him, the vagabond, the poor rat trap sailor. Please consult the dictionary for the following words: thievery, allurement, entrapped, intercept, dissimulate, foreboding, vele, slouch, ragamuffin. Thank you.